I'm fine.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV. We're in Riyadh ahead of Day of Reckoning tomorrow night here in Saudi Arabia. I'm joined by promoter Frank Warren. Frank, how are you, mate?
Who are you? Oh, you're
Don't-
good.
yeah, of
I
course.
remember you. I remember you from a couple of years ago. How you doing?
Years ago, I know. I've been travelling, Frank. I've been travelling.
Yeah, right.
How are you, Frank? First of all,
I'm all okay. I can't complain. What about you?
all good. Can't complain. Bit surreal, all this happening. I didn't mean me and you. I just meant.
Actually, I think this is more surreal than anything else. But anyway, what is happening? Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's. I think it's exciting. It's amazing, and I think it's brilliant for boxing, for the fighters, for the fans, for everybody. Certainly, for us promoters.
Is this a case of a little bit more than it's just about money? Because you can have the money, but it needs a little bit more than that to put all this together and get you guys all together and the way this has worked. So it's not all. It is the big part of it is about money, but there is more to it, isn't there?
Well, there is more to it. I mean, obviously, we look. First of all, as running our respective businesses, all promoters, we've got a duty to the fighter to try and achieve and make him the most money he can from which, as far as sports concerned, is a very short career. And when opportunities come up, as they've come up here, and it's not like there hasn't been boxing here in the past in Saudi, but this is a more unique situation because His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, he's a massive boxing fan. He's in control of the Riyadh season, and he wanted boxing included in that season, and he made the funds, the wherewithal, and I've got to say guidance, and I'm not brown-nosing when I say this, it took somebody like him who says, like, why isn't A fighting B? Why isn't that fight happening? And you tell them why it's not happening. Well, let's put it on. And by the way, why don't we make this one, and then we go down the list, and suddenly we're making these fights, putting it together, getting this event on, and the respective teams that, with His Excellency, with Dr. Hearn, with Seller, his company, with Queensberry and all my staff, and George, our CEO, with Spencer at Gold Star, working very closely with us. All of us have really worked hard to get this situation where it is. And that's led to other fighters and their promoters being involved. For example, Matchroom, Eddie Hearn. So he's, got 3 fighters on the card on this card on Saturday. And that's brilliant for his fighters, it's brilliant for us, it's brilliant for him. And we're doing those fights in conjunction with each other, in association with Matchroom, as we're doing with other fighters on the card with their respective promoters.
After the Fury and Ngannou fight, when it became apparent that Tyson wasn't going to be kind of, not say ready, but that fight wasn't going to materialise for the proposed date for the Usyk fight, yeah. But it was a very short window that to kind of put this card together. I mean, it's incredible to think that when we sit here, the politics of this fight happening, not happening, etc., and the timescale fights do take, that all these fights can come together in a very short space of time. So what's the main ingredient to that, apart from a direct approach and, yeah, so like, this is what we're doing, are you a part of it?
It's all what I just said. It was like, look, this is what we can do, these are the funds that are available, let's make the fights. And between us, we did that. Between, everybody got involved and led, George and Spencer led a lot of the negotiations. We have our lawyers, we had three lawyers working full-time on it to get the contracts done. I mean, it was quite a bit of a feat, and getting the event together. And it was tough, but it was frustrating at times. But I'll tell you what, it was enjoyingly tough and frustrating. And I said this the other day, somebody said about, we got a problem. And it was, no, we haven't got a problem, we got a challenge. And that's what it was. It was a challenge, and we met the challenge, and we got it done between all of us. And coming off of the last event, which was a massive event, which I said would be a game changer, and so that's been proven. It is a game changer. That's where we are today. And Saturday's show will be a game changer. It's going to be a game changer for the winners and the losers of on the card on Saturday, and what it leads to next year, the fights that can be made with the guys who win and maybe some of the ones who lose, plus the events that we've already got locked in for next year. So this here, the Riyadh season, is just phenomenal for boxing. The Riyadh season will become the world centre of big fights, no doubt about it, and it will get bigger and better.
I want to go back to the press conference yesterday. A couple of things to dissect from that. Did you pick your entrance song, Frank, yourself? Were they picked for the promoters, etc., or were they? Did you pick them yourself? I just wondered.
Yeah, somebody must have picked it.
It's quite like fitting. All the music seems to have applied very well. The first public.
You didn't pick it then,
No,
did you?
I didn't pick it. I didn't pick it. No. The first public handshake between yourself and promoter Eddie Hearn, which was a talking point.
Hands at the, I'm sure we shook hands at the last one.
I don't know. This was billed as the first public handshake.
No, well, I didn't bill it. Probably on social media again, isn't it? When did I ever get it right? No, I think we done that in London, didn't we, when we announced the fight? Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know. This is what was being said yesterday. I don't know.
I'm not,
Maybe you've had a few handshakes.
But you know
I don't know.
I'm not counting anyway.
But yeah, the press conference yesterday, we'll start with talking a bit with Daniel Dubois' great one-liner to Jarrell Miller, which is, quite good to see. Not Daniel coming out of his shell, but being more vocal, and I think Jarrell Miller has brought that out of him in this week.
I agree. He actually shut him up for a minute, didn't he? His jaw dropped a bit when he came out. It was quite a good one-liner, and yes, that's what I want to hear from him. I want to see him. I want to see him, come out of himself. He's very capable, and he's a very much an introvert, and I'm not saying he's got to be an extrovert, because as long as he does what he's got to do in the ring. But I think he needs to get a little bit of nastiness about him. Look, you've seen him in fights. He gets someone in trouble. He's a very good finisher, and I don't want to go into all the nonsense of the last fight. My views on that. But he's out on Saturday. He's going out to prove a point. He's got to prove a point. He's got to shut up some of those doubters and some of those things that are said by fighters, certainly ex-fighters, who should know better and know different. It's all very well jumping on that bandwagon, when most of the time it's not even about having to go at him. It's because they might have the needle with me or whatever it is. But we are where we are. We're doing what we're doing. We've got this big show on, and we're going to continue to do these big shows. And the fighters, certainly the fighters that are with me, will be involved in those fights, as will other promoters and other fighters. We've got some really good things planned. We had an extremely good meeting last night between a few of us at His Excellency's house, and it'll lead to some interesting fights, there's no doubt about it.
I want to come on to Anthony Joshua. A lot has been spoken about this week about his body language, the way he's kind of approached certain interviews at the start of the week. What, is this being blown out of proportion? Are people trying to analyse and dissect Joshua's demeanour a little bit too much?
It's the first time I've ever been near him during a fight. And that's only being on the stage. I've never had it. You spend more time with him than I do, so you could probably answer that question better than me. For me, it's not about his demeanour this week. Look, first of all boxers are different. If it was Tyson, and Tyson wasn't being his usual, happy, jokingly self as he is during a week of a fight, then I could make a comment on it, because that's how he is. It seems he's a bit surly and he's a bit sullen. Maybe that's what he's got to do, get himself in that frame of mind for the fight, and that's how he's got to be. All fighters are different. They're like people, they respond to different situations in different ways and have to control themselves in different ways to keep control of how they feel and keeping themselves together for big fights. And for him, I've got to tell you something, this is probably the biggest fight of his life. He's been there, he's done it. Now, there's a lot of people looking at him saying, has he still got it? Can he do it? He's in with a guy who's ambitious, who fancies the job. What's he got left in the tank? Perhaps he's got gallons and gallons left in the tank. I don't know, but we'll find out on Saturday. But one thing's for sure, it looks like he's going to be in a fight.
We noticed yesterday as well that the questions to him wasn't from Dev Sani. The questions were kind of deflected onto Eddie Hearn to ask Joshua the questions. Was that done obviously on purpose because of just little moments that Dev and Anthony have had?
He don't want to speak to Dev. I mean, that's it. That's up to him. He don't want to speak to him. He don't want to speak to him. You know, at the end of the world, Dev's there representing the promoters. It's not just Queensbury. He works for Queensbury. He's representing Seller. He's representing us, and and he was asked especially for him to do that, and he's actually grown into the job and doing extremely well. We're very proud of him. But no, that's up to him. You know, it just makes him feel better. And asked him a question from the floor, and Derek, I mean. You would think I think you could be very cynical to not think it was contrived, would you?
Yeah, what did you make of that, Joshua? Obviously, which is it's the whole the floor asking questions that kind of died out a few years ago. There was obviously used to be press conferences.
Well, the reason it died out is because of social media, because the press, obviously, they ask their questions. And I mean this with the greatest respect, other than a few people in social media, some of the questions you get asked are quite banal and stupid. The press, most of the press who were designated boxing writers used to ask the question, knowing that it would be published in the following day's newspaper. It's asked by one of them to, like at a press conference today, you'll be reporting it straight away, so you're killing the story. So that's why that's died out. I don't like that actually. I prefer the spontaneity of it all, when you're asked a question and it might lead to something else coming out, and
best press conferences you've hosted before have come from kind of just a torch paper being lit.
Something said, and they've touched the old blue touch paper, and up it goes. But no, it's changed a bit, and it is what it is. And then you'll go off in your huddles and do your various stories and ask the questions. But it's changed. That side of it has changed. There's no doubt about it. But you know, I don't want to hear somebody who's not a journalist asking questions. It's nonsense.
Frank, I know it's not really probably a better question for Eddie, but there was reports about the Wilder and the fight with Joshua being signed for the March the 9th. I think it was Dan Raphael that reported that. I know, obviously, like I said, it's probably a better question for Eddie Hearn, but you'll be involved in this process, I'm assuming. But where did that story come from? Because Eddie Hearn said yesterday that that's not the case, it hasn't been signed, but could you shed any light on that?
Maybe it's the pizza delivery boy told him, I don't know. That certainly didn't come from me. I had no dialogue with him.
Okay. All right, interesting. Like I said, it's probably more a question for Hearn. But yeah, moving forward, obviously we've got February the 17th, which is after this weekend, going to rapidly approach. So everything going well at the moment with Tyson in camp, as far as you know?
He's training very hard. He's into sparring now. Moses is up there with a couple of other sparring partners, and he's enjoying it. And Tyson's moves down here before the new year. That's how focused he is. He's looking good at the moment. Apparently I'm told that the camp they're in a real good. He's in a good mood, so that's good. And once he's down here, he'll get into the real serious side of the training. Not long. It won't be long. It'll be on us very quickly.
It's a shame he can't be here this weekend. That'd be interesting.
Well, look, he can't. He's training hard, and he can't be distracted.
Absolutely. But the rest of the card in itself, Frank, top to bottom, it's literally like, very intriguing fights all the way through, even from the earlier fights with some of the heavyweights.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Kabayel
Makhmudov
fight. That's a 50-50 fight. I'm looking forward to that. Both of them are undefeated, so that should be quite interesting. I think that's got a look of a good fight. Hrgovic, I think he can't afford to slip up. He's in the number one spot. I think he'll come through anyway. But there will be upsets on there. There's no doubt about that. You're not going to have 8 fights and no upset.
Well, you'd say like to think so, but there will be something that doesn't go to script.
Well, I hope, we'll see. I mean, the fight everybody wants to see has got to be set up, but both of the guys at the top of the bill got to win that. Going down the cards, a couple of Brits in very tough fights. Lyndon Arthur's got a tough fight, and so's Ellis Zorro. But, we've seen upsets. We've seen a few things change over the last few months, and who knows?
A lot of people are picking what I've seen. Say a lot of people, but quite a few people were saying that Parker is, in with a huge chance to say upset Wilder, but to beat Wilder.
First of all, he's an ex-world champion himself. I mean, it's not like he's some slouch or something. He's quite a competitor, and he's coming off a good win. He had a very good win last time out in October here, and on Tyson's undercard, didn't he, on the opening of the Riyadh season. He knows himself. It's appropriately named, this show, Day of Reckoning, and for these fighters, there's going to be losers, there'll be winners, but as I said at the start of it, they'll be setting themselves up for some big fights for next year. Everybody has been spurred on. All the fighters are spurred on by what they think they can get in the future. It's not just a fight, it's a big future. They want to be part of this. Everybody wants to be part of it. We all want to be part of it. I wanted to be part of it when it came about. Matchroom, all the other promoters, everybody wants to be part of this. And can you imagine how much the fighters want to be there? They want to be on these cards. They're earning great money, fantastic money, fabulous purses. So that's where they're at. So they've got plenty. They're all incentivized to do what they've got to do. And that's why I feel, like I say, you're going to get some upsets. And Parker, he fancies the job.
Frank, can you see a situation in 2024 that, aside from kind of purse bid scenarios, that you guys, Queensberry and Matchroom, can make fights back at home as well, not just the cards here in Saudi? Is that more of a possibility now?
I'm sure there will be fights that can be made. I'm quite sure we're sensible enough. But you've got to realise also, we're in business and we're competitors. We're no different than a football team or a Formula One racing teams or golfers, whatever. We're in competition. What we have, we have outlets for our products, and they are our respective TV companies that we work with. And because of that, we've got to deliver. And those TV companies want the best. They don't want us giving our best fighter to the other side. That's how it is. That's logical. That's it's no more than, say, BBC television have got, I don't know, who's the biggest star on BBC at the moment. They wouldn't want to be giving that over to ITV. We have him exclusively. He's exclusive to us, and that's how life is. Or a film studio not going to let their actor, the actor that they've got signed up with them, go and film for
Fight on the brain.
Make a film for another fight film for another studio. No, we're not.
We get you. Yeah.
So that's the point I make. We're competitive, so you've got to get that. And but I think there will be slight change. I don't think you guys are going to get away with your clickbait anymore.
What's talking about clickbait?
You're the biggest culprit of all. You're not going to get away with that clickbait.
I hope you mean like IFL as a whole and not just myself, Frank. But Frank, if you said it, it's out there. I mean, there's many different interpretations of what clickbait actually is. But yeah,
it's like if we say something and you've got a headline up there. Warren says
Warren loses the plot.
Warren loses the plot. Warren calls Hearn a tosser. Hearn calls Warren a wanker. Whatever it may be, that's what you do. And I get it and I understand.
Great title for this video, by the way. It's a great title for this video.
That's a great title. Yeah. What part? No, it is what it is. It's a bit of fun, and I think it is a bit of fun, and we respond to it. And I know we all have a bit of a laugh at it, but sometimes, and I'll be honest, you do take it seriously, and sometimes you get something said and you bite on it. But that's like.
But there's going to be less of that now, isn't there?
Yeah. But well, who knows? But when I started out in the business, and there was the cartel, Mickey Duff and all them, and I tell you what, you want to talk about competition. There was no two TV companies. There were two TV companies. Only one show, boxing. So you had to really go and fight. There weren't all these different outlets and whatever, and it was tough. And you couldn't even book a venue because they owned and controlled all the venue. They had exclusives on the Albert Hall and Wembley, and they were the two viable venues. I couldn't even book York Hall. I couldn't even become a small hall promoter to start with, and it was tough, but what you never got was all this crap that goes on in social media.
I mean, that's helped and also hindered, hasn't it?
It has, but it's helped, and you just said something earlier. It's also hindered, I think, a lot of publicity, good publicity. Like you said, at the press conference, no one asked questions. unless you get Derek Chisora along.
Yeah, but like I said, I think that the benefits has absolutely drawbacks with not just in boxing but the whole social media thing, and that's a new thing. This is not a new thing anymore, but for yourself, Frank, which you've obviously promoted in some decades, different decades, eras. But yeah, it's a changing game.
It is a changing game, and it's exciting, and it evolves. Like I've always said, you've got to keep evolving, and that's what what Queensbury, what we've managed to do, keep evolving, we know where we want to go. We have a plan, and we've had a CEO for a few years now, new CEO in George, and George has done a brilliant job, and he wouldn't be sitting here doing this, which I wish he would do, because I could sod off and go lay around the pool or something, but he's not interested in any of that. He just gets on with doing his business, and that's good. I've got Francis gone off and done his own thing now. He's built a really good group of fighters and managing them, and he's doing really well. So we're doing okay as a family and as a business. We're doing brilliantly.
You'll be retiring any day now, then, won't you?
Yeah, I've got to put the old tootsies up soon and see what's. I don't want to retire. I enjoy it. I enjoy this, all what we're doing. I enjoy doing this. I mean, I've always enjoyed the fights. I've always enjoyed all sport. I'm a sports nut, and and this has been brilliant. This is like we've really worked hard, as we always worked hard, but over the last few years in building, and this is the result of it.
Long may it continue. I think everyone's waiting to see some sort of joint interview with you and Mr. Hearn on, supposedly on one of the broadcast platforms, I'm assuming, first time.
Well, we'll have to see, but I've got to get a sponsor first for it. I'll see what it is. Anodin.
All right, Frank, have you got any closing words? Obviously, you've got the weigh-in later on today, and then tomorrow night. It's
a big night tomorrow. I mean, Arsenal versus Liverpool.
You'll make your prediction on that one? Would you take a point now?
Would I take a point? No, I think we can win it. We need to win it. We need good results tomorrow in the fights, and we need Arsenal to come through, and I'll be a happy camper. That'd be a great Christmas present.
Let's hope so. Frank Warren, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and we will see you later at the weigh-in. And take care, and we'll see you later on.
I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
I'm fine.